My friend, there comes a time when everything around you starts to fade. People walk away, doors close, and silence surrounds you. It feels like loneliness, but it's not. It's separation. It's preparation. It's elevation. When you are alone, you are not abandoned. You are being set apart. There are things God wants to reveal to you that cannot be heard in the noise of the crowd. There are lessons He wants to teach you that cannot be learned in the comfort of company. Some of the greatest breakthroughs come in the quiet, where the soul has no choice but to listen. Moses had to leave the palace before he could lead the people. Elijah had to be by the brook before the fire could fall. Joseph had to sit in a prison before he could step into the palace. Being alone is not punishment, it is positioning. Too many are afraid to be alone because they don't understand what's happening. They think being alone means being forgotten. No, it means being chosen. It means being called. It means being refined for something greater. When everything is stripped away, what remains is what truly matters. That's when strength is built. That's when faith is tested. That's when purpose is revealed. So if you feel alone today, don't fight it, embrace it. This is your season of transformation. This is where the distractions fall away, where the old things break off, and where the new things begin. You are not alone. You are in the hands of the one who is shaping you for something greater. Trust the process. Stay in the fire. And when the time is right, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and ready for the calling ahead.
Separation is preparation.
This is a truth that many people fail to understand in the moment of isolation. When life pulls you away from the familiar, when relationships break, when opportunities seem to vanish, it is easy to think something is wrong. The natural response is to question, to resist, to feel abandoned. But what if the very thing you are fighting is the thing that is working for you? What if being set apart is not rejection, but redirection? Throughout history, those who have walked in great purpose have experienced seasons of separation. It is not a coincidence, it is a process. Before stepping into something greater, there is always a season where everything around you seems to be taken away. The reason is simple: transformation requires isolation. If you are to become the person you are called to be, you cannot remain surrounded by the same voices, the same habits, the same patterns. Separation forces you to let go of what is familiar so that you can embrace what is next. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most alone. Those moments were painful, but they were also revealing. In the absence of distractions, you were left with yourself. You were forced to confront your thoughts, your fears, your weaknesses. It is in these moments that real growth begins. When the noise fades, truth is revealed. You start to see who you really are, what truly matters, and what needs to change. Look at the great leaders, the ones who made an impact. They all had a season of separation. Moses was taken away from the palace before he could lead the people. He spent years in the wilderness, not because he was being punished, but because he was being prepared. In that solitude, he learned, he grew, and he became the man who could stand before Pharaoh and demand freedom for his people. Without that separation, he would have never stepped into his calling. The same was true for Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, but before those dreams became reality, he was separated. He was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and locked in a prison. It would have been easy for Joseph to believe that his life was over, that he had been forgotten. But in that isolation, something powerful was happening. He was being shaped into the leader who would one day save nations. Every hardship, every lonely night, every moment of betrayal was not wasted. It was all preparation. This pattern is undeniable. Those who are called to do great things will first experience great separation. Why? Because when you are surrounded by people, it is easy to rely on them. It is easy to seek their approval, to be influenced by their opinions, to follow their ways. But when you are alone, you have no choice but to rely on something greater. You learn to walk in faith, to trust when nothing makes sense, to hold on when everything around you tells you to give up.
Separation is not about loss. It is about refinement.
Gold is purified in the fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and strong warriors are trained in solitude. If you are in a season where everything is being stripped away, do not be discouraged. This is not the end, it is the beginning. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. The old ways are breaking off because they cannot go where you are going. The people who left could not walk the path that is ahead of you. The doors that closed were never meant to hold your destiny. This is why you must embrace the process. Do not fight the separation, let it work in you. If you spend your energy resisting, complaining, or trying to force things back to how they used to be, you will miss the lesson. The discomfort is part of the growth. The loneliness is shaping you. The silence is teaching you. There are things you will only discover when everything else is removed. One of the most dangerous things in life is comfort. Comfort keeps people stuck. It keeps them repeating the same cycles, surrounding themselves with the same people, following the same routines. Growth does not happen in comfort. Elevation requires change, and change requires separation. You cannot rise to the next level while holding on to the things that kept you in the last one. There will be moments when separation feels unfair. When people turn their backs on you, when the things you counted on fall apart, it will hurt. But you must shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" That one shift in mindset will change everything. You will begin to see that nothing is happening to you, everything is happening for you. The people who walked away did not leave you behind. They left you available for something greater. The closed doors did not stop you. They redirected you. Every loss is making room for something better. Think about an eagle. When it is time for an eagle to grow, the mother will begin to remove the soft padding from the nest. What was once a place of comfort becomes uncomfortable. The sharp twigs and rough edges force the young eagle to move. It has no choice but to stretch its wings and fly. If the nest remained comfortable, the eagle would never leave. It would never become what it was meant to be. The same is true for you. If everything around you stayed the same, you would never step into your full potential. You would never develop the strength, the resilience, the faith that is needed for your next season. Growth requires discomfort. It requires solitude. It requires seasons of being set apart. So if you feel alone right now, if you feel like everything is shifting, do not be discouraged. This is your training ground. This is where your character is built. This is where your faith is strengthened. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. You are not lost, you are being led. The path ahead is greater than you can imagine, but to walk it, you must be willing to let go of what is behind. Separation is not an accident. It is not a mistake. It is part of the process. Trust it. Walk through it. And when the time is right, you will step into the purpose that you were being prepared for all along.
Silence brings revelation.
In a world filled with noise, distractions, and endless voices competing for attention, silence has become rare. People run from it, afraid of what they might hear when everything else fades away. They fill their days with busyness, surround themselves with chatter, and drown in entertainment, all to avoid the weight of stillness. But silence is not empty. It is full of answers, full of wisdom, full of truth. The greatest revelations do not come in the chaos, they come in the quiet. When the world stops speaking, that is when clarity begins. Look at history, at the lives of those who walked in great purpose. They all had moments of deep silence before stepping into their calling. Silence is the place where transformation happens. It is where the heart is exposed, where deep questions arise, where truth is revealed. When everything is stripped away, that is when a person truly sees. Distractions blind, but silence opens the eyes. Noise confuses, but silence brings understanding. Many people resist silence because it forces them to face themselves. It removes the comfort of external validation. When the noise is gone, you are left with your thoughts, your fears, your dreams, and your struggles. This is why so many avoid being alone. It is not loneliness they fear, it is self-confrontation. But revelation requires reflection. Growth requires stillness. Until a person learns to sit in silence, they will never hear the truth that is meant to guide them. Think about those who received powerful revelations in history. They did not hear them in crowds, in parties, or in the middle of distractions. They heard them in the wilderness, in the quiet of the night, in the solitude of deep contemplation. Silence is where wisdom speaks. It is where the deepest lessons are learned. It is where the most powerful visions are birthed. Noise will keep a person running in circles, but silence will set them on the right path. There is a reason why so many struggle with confusion, with lack of direction, with feeling lost. It is because they have not learned the value of stillness. They seek answers everywhere except in the place where truth is found. They expect clarity while living in constant motion. But real understanding does not come when a person is moving too fast to see. It comes in the pause, in the moment of stillness, in the space where distractions no longer have control. Consider the seasons of life where everything seemed uncertain. The moments when plans fell apart, when people walked away, when the familiar was no longer there. It is in those seasons that silence becomes loud. It is in those seasons that a person is forced to stop and listen. And when they do, something changes. The confusion begins to clear. The weight of unnecessary things begins to lift. The vision becomes sharper, not because the answers suddenly appeared, but because the noise was removed long enough for the truth to be heard. There is power in silence. It reveals what was hidden. It brings clarity to what was unclear. It strengthens what was weak. Many want revelation but resist the process that brings it. They pray for direction but never take the time to listen. They ask for wisdom but never step away from the distractions long enough to receive it. Silence is the doorway to deeper understanding, but it requires a willingness to embrace the stillness. It requires the courage to sit in the quiet and allow truth to rise to the surface. The greatest battles are often fought in silence, not in the presence of crowds, not in the noise of public attention, but in the private moments when no one else is watching. That is where character is built. That is where strength is developed. That is where faith is refined. Silence has a way of exposing weaknesses, revealing doubts, and uncovering hidden fears. But it also has a way of strengthening resolve, deepening conviction, and igniting purpose. It is in the silence that real transformation happens. Most people are afraid of silence because they believe it means emptiness. But silence is not empty. It is full of meaning, full of depth, full of unseen strength. It is where the deepest thoughts are formed, where the greatest insights are discovered. It is where a person truly learns to hear, not just with their ears, but with their soul. Noise may provide temporary comfort, but silence brings lasting revelation. It is in silence that purpose is clarified. It is in silence that a person sees what truly matters. So many are caught up in chasing things that do not fulfill them, running after approval that will never satisfy. But when everything grows quiet, the truth becomes undeniable. The things that once seemed important begin to fade. The pursuits that once seemed urgent lose their grip, and what remains is what is real, what is meaningful, what is lasting. Look at those who have made a lasting impact in the world. They were not people who lived in constant distraction. They were people who took time to be alone, to think deeply, to listen intently. They understood that clarity does not come from more noise, but from less. They knew that the most powerful insights are not found in endless activity, but in intentional stillness. Silence is a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches discipline. It teaches trust. It reveals what words cannot. It speaks what noise drowns out. Those who learn to embrace silence become people of depth, people of wisdom, people of true strength. They are not easily swayed by the opinions of others. They are not driven by temporary emotions. They move with purpose, with clarity, with confidence, because they have taken the time to listen before they act. If more people embraced silence, there would be less confusion. If more people valued stillness, there would be more wisdom. The reason so many struggle with direction is not because they lack the ability to hear it, is because they have not taken the time to be silent long enough to listen. Answers are waiting, but they are not found in the noise. They are found in the quiet moments of deep reflection. The world will always try to fill life with distractions. There will always be noise competing for attention. But those who seek revelation must be willing to step away. They must be willing to turn down the volume, to create space for stillness, to embrace the silence that brings clarity. It is in those moments that the greatest truths are revealed, that the deepest insights are gained, that the path ahead becomes clear. Silence is not a waste of time. It is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a gift, a tool, a necessary part of growth. It is in the silence that vision is sharpened. It is in the silence that strength is developed. It is in the silence that true purpose is revealed. Those who learn to value silence will walk with greater wisdom, with greater clarity, with greater power. Because when everything else fades, the truth remains. And the truth is always found in the silence.